Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomena, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Paranormal Stakeout. I'm Larry Lawson, your host and guide on our continuing journey to discover what really lies beyond life as we know it. And I'm coming to you, as always, from the headquarters of the X-Zone Radio and Television Broadcast Network out of Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. And I'm speaking to you from the studios in the southern command post of the X-Zone Nation in beautiful Vero Beach and Fellsmere, Florida. Now, those of you that have been with me for a while, you know that in addition to spending time with you on the air, I also have my own paranormal research and investigative team, the Florida Bureau of Paranormal Investigation. And you're also aware of my love for sharing history as well as the paranormal with folks on different tours and events down here in the Sunshine State. But tonight, I've got I would like to say a colleague who does the same thing up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Mr. Brett McGinnis. Brett has been exploring the unknown for 12 years. In 2010, he was a cast member on the SyFy TV channel TV show, Ghost Hunters Academy. After the academy, he returned to Pittsburgh, where he finished his bachelor's degree in film and television production. In 2015, he released his first full-length paranormal documentary, The Staring Man, which documented Bruce Tango's first experience as a child in New Jersey. Now, Bruce Tango is a former police officer, and he appeared on the Ghost Hunters TV show, but you might remember his son Dave Tango a little bit clearer. He also co-founded the paranormal event company N'at Paranormal Adventures in 2015. N'at takes people on ghost hunts and ghost tours with real paranormal investigators year-round. He continues to grow N'at while producing and directing video content for some of the largest companies in the world. So, Brett, welcome to Paranormal Stakeout, my friend.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, you know, you've done a lot. Ghost Hunters Academy, that was kind of a spin-off of the original Ghost Hunters TV show, correct?
Yeah. It was more of a spin-off / sister show, kind of.
Yeah.
You know, we had Stephen Tango from the Ghost Hunters program, and Ghost Hunters Academy was kind of their show, you know.
Right. Well, how did you even get into the business? What even attracted you to it? And tell us how you even got here.
Oh, well, I've just always have been interested in the paranormal and the unknown since I've been a small child. It's just something that I had a strong interest in, and of course, I was in the right spot at the right time. All the television shows started to happen on TV, and I loved that. And I did my first ever paranormal investigation in 2007. That was my freshman year of college, and there was a haunted cemetery near campus, so. I
Mhm.
went out there with some friends, and that kind of got me into, and I got into a little bit more, investigating some places. And then in 2010, I had the opportunity to be on Ghost Hunters Academy there, and that was awesome. And then after that, yeah, I just came back to Pittsburgh, and everything just kind of took off from there.
Now, when you had when you first started investigating, you say the first place you went to was in a cemetery. Had
Yeah.
you had any experiences at a younger age? Anything that you couldn't explain that helped spur your interest?
No, that's something I get asked a lot, and because I know a lot of people have had those experiences, and I didn't. I was just interested in it.
Hmm. Okay. Uh, when did you first experience your first real paranormal event? I mean, how many times had you been out investigating?
Well, it was pretty early on. I would say, probably my third time going to this cemetery. It's well known in the area for being haunted. It's a very small cemetery that's kind of in the middle of the woods, and we had some experiences there. We got some battery drainage on some of our. At the time, we didn't really have any equipment. We are just kind of starting out, so we had our digital cameras and voice recorders, things like that. And we had some battery drainage. We got some strange photos, and that just kind of piqued my interest even more. I think everybody can agree. As soon as they actually catch something or think that they catch something, that
Sure.
they're hooked.
Now that's a lot of truth to that. What now your first group, were you all college buddies of yours that went out there? Was it sort of a paranormal college group that did this, or was this just plain out going out and checking it out?
Yeah, it was just some friends just kind of going out and checking it out. Just we weren't exactly a paranormal team or anything like that. Just some people that were interested in it. At that time, I know a lot of colleges now have paranormal groups, but
Mhm.
at that time there was no paranormal group at that university that I attended, and I actually transferred to another university, and there was no paranormal group there. But by the time I graduated college, both of those universities had paranormal groups, so it's just kind of in the midst of all these colleges starting up these paranormal teams.
Well, there's a lot of folks out there that, and I'm sure you've run into them. They saw the TV shows, they got excited about them. They may even have started investigating, and maybe even had dreams of doing something like that.
Mhm.
Getting on the TV. How did that happen to you? How did that occur?
Well, I just when it comes down to it, I just got really lucky. I was watching Ghost Hunters on SyFy Channel, and I was home for Thanksgiving break from college, and I was watching it at home, and I saw a TV advertisement saying that they were casting for this new ghost hunting show on the
Hmm.
SyFy Channel. And for some reason, I went on the website that they had, and I applied for it. And I had never really done anything like that before. I hadn't tried to get on to American Idol or anything crazy like that. But for some reason, that just it called to me, and I still to this day don't know why I actually did it, why I pressed the button. But I went on, I applied, I had to write a little bit about myself, send some photos to them, and I didn't hear anything back. I heard nothing. I didn't get a confirmation email, nothing back. So I kind of forgot about it. I didn't say anything to anybody about it because why would I? Am I going to tell everybody I applied for this TV show? So um, it was it was a few months later. I guess it had to have been after Christmas break, going back to college. And I was majoring in film and television production, and I was taking a graphics class at the time. And the teacher was showing us how to make a graphic with some smoke that would spell out a name. And I said to my friend beside me, I said, "Hey, that looks like something that they would use on Ghost Hunters." And he says, "Oh yeah, it does." I said, "I actually applied for that show and I never heard anything." You wouldn't believe it, but that day I got a call from the people out in California that were in charge of the show saying that were interested in me for the show. So the
Okay.
the first time I had said anything to anybody, just a few hours after that, I got a phone call saying that they were interested, and me for the show. And then, it was a long process after that. I had to make a video answering a bunch of questions. I had to fill out, background checks. I had to fly to New York and get a psychological evaluation done.
Okay. Sounds like
then,
you're going to become a cop like me.
Yeah. It was a lot of work after they gave you that kind of interest. And then after that, it had to be a couple weeks after the psychological evaluation. They told me that we were good to go. So it was crazy. It was something that I couldn't believe I was doing at the time. A lot of people watch the shows and stuff, and I felt like I was inside of the show, and it's a really surreal experience just thinking back on it. And it's been 9 years now, which doesn't seem like that. It seems like yesterday. It was such a huge event in my life, and it definitely set up myself for things to come. I think about sometimes what my life would be like had it not been for that show. Would it be the same? Would I be doing the same thing? And I don't know. It's such a huge event. And I'm very thankful for it. A lot of good has come from it.
And a lot of folks have watched the shows and also have wondered, was it real? Mm-hmm. And I think this is one of the biggest challenges, at least that I feel that we face in the paranormal investigative and research field, is people watch the TV and expect you to find something in the first 10 minutes. Right. Or, what was it really like investigating, and what was it like conducting this type of work in front of cameras? What's the reality of it?
Well, first, everything on the show was real. So nothing was faked, nothing was rigged, nothing was, nothing like that at all. So no funny business at all. And I say that 100% hands down. So nothing weird, nothing funny. So, on the show is like an hour long, and it makes it seem like, one night or 2 nights. But in reality, we're at the location for like a week, and we're there sometimes for a really, really long time. Like I know our first location that we did was Waverly Hills in Kentucky. That's a pretty well-known haunted location. And we were there in the middle of February, and it was freezing. It's the coldest I've ever been in my life. And we were filming for hours and hours and hours. So, in that week span of investigating, now I'm not sure, I can't remember if we were investigating every night, but we were definitely there several nights investigating for hours. And that's for a couple of reasons. Number one is to get, enough evidence to kind of, put a show together, because like you said, sometimes it just doesn't happen, So a lot of times it doesn't happen. But so that gives us enough time for that. And honestly, whenever we're filming, especially because, there's a lot of filming during the day too, like the tours and interviews and stuff like that. But filming at night, actually during the investigation, I would forget that we were even filming, because the camera guys, they stand back really far from you a lot of the times, and they're kind of zoomed in on you. It's dark, there's no lights or anything. Everything is in IR, and you forget that they're there. You just kind of get in the zone. Now, whenever we're in the daytime and there's like 5 humongous cameras pointed at you, you're like, okay, I'm on a TV show. This is scary. And if I mess up, I'm messing up at 5 different angles right now. So that's a little bit intimidating. But the investigation, they don't talk to you. There's no communication with them. So.
Okay. Well, what we need to do here is take our first break. I want to hear more about this. Is giving folks a real life view of what it's like to be on a paranormal TV show. So, folks, stay with us. Paranormal Stakeout. We'll be back right after these messages.
It's hard to listen to the news without realizing we're living in volatile, unprecedented times. Yet never has there been such an opportunity to transform the human condition. As old structures fail, where can we find the guidance to co-create a better way? Find Your Path Home is an ever-evolving, leading-edge information, education, and healing resource center designed to support and guide you on your path to unity and enlightenment. Based on sound principles employed by shaman worldwide, we provide techniques that can support you through the current transitions, offering online shamanic classes, international long-distance shamanic healing sessions, complimentary Mission Evolution radio episodes and Stairway to Heaven TV vignettes, seminars, retreats, and much more. All of this can be found on findyourpathhome.com.
So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me. simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
And we are back on Paranormal Stakeout with my guest tonight, Brett McGinnis from N'at Paranormal Adventures out of Pittsburgh, PA. And using a little bit of Pittsburghese here, let's quit jag around and read up the show a little bit. What do you think there, Brett?
Yeah, it sounds good to me. You got it close. You got it pretty close. You know, we say yins a lot and downtown, and yep, that's us, Pittsburgh.
Well, it's amazing because the reason we connected was a friend of mine, actually my case manager for the my paranormal team, the FBPI, Sherry Cox, who owns Doodlebug Dowsing, actually connected us, and she's from Pittsburgh, so she actually got me hooked up with this Pittsburghese here.
Yeah, cool. Good.
So, you know, pretty good experience on the show. You didn't feel like you were forced to enhance anything on the show. It is what it is. Would that be pretty correct?
Yep. That's my view of it. Like I said, there was no evidence that was faked. Everything that we caught and presented, it was actually caught. Anybody who had experiences on the show did have those experiences. So, you know, it was pretty authentic in my eyes as far as, you know, the investigation and everything. Yep, it was all good.
That's good. I've had a couple other folks in the shows that on this show that have been on programs before, and they had a little bit a dimmer view of it. But I'm glad to hear your point of view because I've had the pleasure of meeting both Jason and Grant. Grant in particular was just a super individual. So I'm glad to get this perspective of it. So you spend some time on the show. It was 2 seasons, was it?
Yeah. It was actually one season divided in half that people call season 1. They call them season 1 and 2 though, but it was in reality, as far as the actual show, is one season. Season 1 and season 1.5. Ah,
gotcha. And I think you had one famous alumni that ended up with his own show from the Tennessee Wraith Chasers, I believe.
Yeah, Chris.
So that's. So I'm glad that I'm glad to hear it was such a good experience. Now, so you finished up the show. You go back to Pittsburgh. You work on your degree. Your interest in the paranormal is still there and still growing, correct?
Yep.
What did you do to enhance it? Did you start? And I know you're obviously in the film industry.
Right.
What did you do to train and work yourself to become a more proficient paranormal investigator? And did the show help with that?
I mean, the show definitely helped, and I think something that has helped even more than like being on the show is after the show, because I was on the show, I've got to meet a lot of, you know, interesting people out there who have been researching the paranormal for a very, very, very long time. So through connections and conventions and things like that, I've got to talk to these people, hang out with them. So I've learned a lot that way. I got to do some interesting things. I think probably one of the most notable was going to Lorraine Warren's museum in Connecticut there. So I've met Lorraine a few times, and I got to go to her house there and see the Annabelle doll and all those things. I also I joined up with a couple different paranormal groups here in Pittsburgh after the show, and went on some cases with them. One group in particular was a film group called Ghost Story TV, who just created a bunch of ghost videos and ghost video content. So that was perfect for me, you know. Just got a film degree, was just, you know, traveling around the United States on this ghost show, and right here in my own backyard we got Ghost Story TV. So that was really cool. So you know, hung out with them, did investigations, did videos with them. So you know, really just continued delving into the paranormal after the academy right here in Pittsburgh.
How many investigations do you think you've done over the last 12 years?
Ooh, you know, that's something I've never even thought about as far as how many. And I don't even want to say a number because my number is going to be way off being put here on the spot. I can do a count up later and give it to you. But I mean, several, everything from, you know, residential cases and businesses, all the way to public locations, and then, you know, into public ghost hunting events.
Well, and that's where I want to go next here. So you've come back, you've had your stint on the TV show, you've done some other paranormal work. Now you're working in film a little bit. Ghosts and N'at, and from what I understand, once again from what Sherry was telling me, ghosts and N'at means ghosts and that, right?
Yes.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay. How did that come about? How did this company of yours come about?
Well, being part of the paranormal team, and I'm sure that a lot of paranormal investigators experience this. Excuse me. People wanting to come on ghost hunts with them.
Mm-hmm.
So we always have people asking us, and you know, we can't really take people into, you know, strangers' houses and businesses with us to do a proper paranormal investigation. So you know, we had this idea of starting a business where we would take people on real ghost hunts with real paranormal investigators year round. Mm-hmm. And it was a crazy idea, and I know other people have done it before, and it really picked up. It's crazy. I would never think that I would be able to sell, you know, ghost hunting tickets in the middle of February in Pennsylvania, but it happens. You know, people love the idea of ghost hunting. You know, there's tons of fans of all the shows out there. And it's something that a lot of people have wanted to do for a long time, but it can be kind of difficult for them, you know, because they need a place to go to. They might want to use some equipment, some knowledge on the, you know, on the paranormal and on some of the equipment and on just investigating in general. So what we kind of do is just kind of give them all of that in a nicely wrapped package and invite them to come along with us.
Now, you on your website, you talk about having experience, taking these folks out with experienced investigators. Where do these investigators come from? What's their background?
So there's a wide range of different backgrounds. We have people that have been investigating, you know, as long as I have, and some that have been into it now for, you know, 5 years or so. But we've met them through different ways. One person that is with me currently was on one of the paranormal teams that whenever I came back to Pittsburgh that I joined up with. So after the show, so I've known him for a long, long time now. Some of the other people we have met along the way, they've come to some of our events as paranormal investigators, as doing, you know, their own paranormal investigations, and we've met them through actual Ghost and N'at events, and we end up hiring them. And then some of our people are newbies. You know, we just did kind of a new hire session here. Some of our newbies are just kind of getting into it, so we're just kind of taking them under our wing and training them, and whenever they're ready to go out there and lead their own groups, we'll let them do it.
Oh, now that's an interesting topic when you say train them. What type of training do you put them through? My group's a little different in that not most of all the time, our events are staffed by members of my actual paranormal team. So that's so I've actually got a full set of experienced investigators there. But when you bring in a new person, or even a person with just a little bit of experience, what kind of training do you give them?
Well, there's a lot of shadowing that happens during these. And of course, we sit down and go over technical stuff with equipment and things like that. And we actually have a training day coming up this weekend where we're all going to go out together and hang out and just investigate, practice things, talk about things, learn from each other. So we're going to be doing that all day on Sunday with each other. And we are going to be actually investigating as well a potential new location for us to hold events at. So
Oh, okay.
it's kind of working hand in hand. So we're going to investigate it, see if we catch anything there while training, and just kind of getting to know each other and make sure everybody's on the same page with everything. So we take our training very seriously, and we take the people that we hire very, very seriously too. It's not something it's not like a snap decision. They have to come out with us a lot. We talk to them a lot. We see how they do. It's a long, long, long process. The people that we're working with now, they have been technically working through the new hire process now for a few months. So, it's just not something that we do. It's something we take very, very seriously, because we really, our customers, a lot of them end up becoming our friends, and we want to give them the most authentic and the best paranormal experience that we can. So we take that very, very seriously, and we have great reviews for all of our events, and that's something that we really take to heart, and we just want to continue to push the envelope and just continue to give them a better experience.
And that sounds terrific. And one of the things that I really I stress, at least on my events, is what this really is, and frankly what it's not. The people do get, I don't know if you've experienced this, but people have gotten the wrong impression of what it is from watching the TV shows, and I think the TV shows have helped the field quite a bit in getting it out there, but it's also given people the wrong impression, much like the cop shows that I can't stand, because it gives the general public generally the wrong idea of what we do. Mm-hmm. But I think it's important that we also help folks understand what this whole philosophy, this whole field is, and what it's not, for that reason. How many events do you think you do a year?
Yeah, we probably do somewhere in the neighborhood 20 to 30, I would say, somewhere in that ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
We usually...
What? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, we usually do between 2 to 3 a month. Most of the time, we kind of slow down a little bit around like December, because Christmas, everybody's crazy busy. The weather isn't great. And then we really kick it up in the fall,
Yeah, the fall is the busy time. No question about that. How many people do you normally draw on an event? How many people do you allow in, I should say?
Well, that depends on the size of the location, really. Mm-hmm. Because, like I said, we take it very seriously. So we make sure that, because we take a big group, we split them down into smaller groups. We make sure that there is no contamination between groups. So
good.
In your small group, if I can hear another group or hear something like that, that is not going to work for me.
I agree, and I gotta cut you off here, because we got to go to our next break. Folks, stay with us. I've got Brett McGinnis from Ghosts and N'at Paranormal Adventures. We'll be right back after these messages.
They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Ellie Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, After the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, SyFy, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
And we are back on Paranormal Stakeout with my guest tonight, Brett McGinnis of Ghost and N'at Paranormal Adventures out of Pittsburgh. Last segment before the breakup, Brett, we were talking about groups, and I agree, breaking them down into smaller groups, we actually do the same thing, because I know a lot of folks out there, and you may even have experienced it. You go on some of these events and you have 35 people in a small room, and it just doesn't work.
No, yeah. Our events are not like that at all. Like I said, everybody on my team is a real paranormal investigator, and we want to give them an experience that they can remember and that they want to come back to again. So we make sure that our groups are small, that you can't hear any other group at all, that everything is good, everything is smooth, and we really just want to give them a really, really good experience. And we have people that come back and they come to almost every single event with us. And it's crazy. Most of our locations here are regional in the Western Pennsylvania area, but this year we have expanded out to West Virginia, and in a couple of weeks we're going to be up in Buffalo, New York for our first event in New York. So this year we're really expanding out, and we've had people travel all over for our events. We had people come all the way from Texas just to go on a ghost hunt with us, from Texas, from Maine, South Carolina, I'm trying to think where else. And of course, some of the other surrounding states, Maryland and Ohio and New York. But for somebody to come from Texas just to go on a ghost hunt with us is amazing. I don't even know how they found out about us in Texas. We don't advertise in Texas or anything like that. But they came and they had a great time. So it's amazing to me how interested people are in it and how much they want to come out with us. And we love it. Everybody on my team loves investigating the paranormal. It's not something that we do because we have to do it. It's something we do because we want to do it and we love it.
Yeah, it does become a passion. But this begs the next question. Why still the interest? I mean, so many things, especially in the entertainment world, wax and wane. I mean, you get highs and lows, and certainly we've experienced this in the world of what I call paranormal tourism. Yeah. Why do you think people still keep coming back? I have the same. I've got some folks that have been on 2 or 3 of my events and they're coming back for more. Not to mention the new ones. Why is the interest still there, do you think?
Well, I think everybody, kind of has a different reason on why people keep coming back and there's still such an interest. But I think people are always going to be interested in the unknown. That's just human nature. Everybody's interested in the unknown. If we weren't interested in the unknown as human beings, everybody would have stayed on, one continent. They wouldn't have hopped on ships and crossed the ocean. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So the unknown is always interesting until it's known. And, there's still a lot of unknown out there in the paranormal world. So it's something that I don't think is going to go away. I think interest is only going to grow. And, as we make more advancements with equipment and theories and ideas and and things like that, I think it's only going to continue to grow. I think there's a lot of room there to grow, and I think there's going to be interest for years and years and years to come.
Yep, and I would tend to agree with you, but there is one other problem out there, and I don't know if you've faced it. I have, and that's individuals that either are charlatans. In other words, they're creating things in order to bring folks in, or frankly, that they're just not I don't want to use the word competent because sometimes they mean well, but they're just not trained well enough. In other words, they're bringing people in and conducting these events, and they're not. Have you experienced that at all?
Yeah, for sure. We've had people come on our events before, and then they've gone to, another event. I know around Halloween time, it seems that a lot of, people pop up and there's ghost tours here, and, all around. And they'll come back to us and they say, oh, we went to this, and it was chaotic. It was, I thought it was not real, whatever the case may be. So, that is problematic, but it's just like, it's just like a restaurant. You know what I mean? If somebody has a bad meal at one restaurant, doesn't mean they're never going to go to another restaurant again and have a great meal. So,
sure.
But I totally get what you're saying. And that's something that, that we have experienced as well. But, I do less of concentrating on like the other people and they're doing their events and stuff, and just I want to give my customer I want to give them the best experience that they can have. I want them to have a good time and hopefully experience some paranormal activity.
And that's the one thing in fact, we joked about it earlier. The one thing I tell folks is ghost hunting is like fishing. Sometimes they're biting, sometimes they're not. And I can't control that. And I think once you lay that out there and explain to folks that this is an experience, which is another word I'm going to mention to you in just a second, it's an experience that you're not guaranteed to see a ghost every time. Mm-hmm. And being honest and upfront is very, very important. That's also why I spend a lot of time on all my events, and that we do walking tours as well as guided events like you do. We talk a lot about history to give folks an understanding of the history of where they're at, because I think you'll agree, if you don't understand the history of where you're at, then none of the rest of it makes sense.
Right.
So, and I think being real, and it worries me that there's folks out there that are either charlatans, they're doing it for the wrong reason, or they're just not competent enough to do it properly and giving folks the wrong impression. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where I'm at on that issue, and it does concern me. I've met some folks, I won't mention where, that were both. And what is there something we can do to combat that? Is it something we need to even address as individuals that put on these types of events?
No, I mean, I don't know. I think everybody can kind of handle it their own way, but like I said before, what I try to do is I just try to give them the best experience when they're with me, Mm-hmm. And I want them to have a good time, whether they, see a ghost or don't see a ghost. And I tell them, I've been investigating, for 12 years. And in that 12 years with my own eyes, I have only seen 2 things ever with my own eyes. I've heard lots of things, catch a lot of EVPs, get some interesting photos, have some interesting personal experiences that don't involve me seeing anything. And that's something that they might experience tonight. But I want them to walk away having a good time, get some history, make some new friends, and just want to give them something that they're going to talk about for years to come.
Excellent. Okay. What are your theories on the paranormal? Do you have your personal thoughts of what this phenomenon is?
Well, it's confusing because there's lots of different things that it could be, and that's really exciting for me that nobody knows for sure. And I talk about some of the theories with some of my guests, and I tell them that nobody's right, nobody's wrong, and that can be a confusing thing. But I talk about theories that that it could be 1852 at the same time that it's 2019, and they're getting a glimpse of us, and we're getting a glimpse of them every once in a while. We're calling it a ghost. I tell them that nobody has the answers. I don't know. Nobody's going to know, but I do know that we're catching something here, and what is that? And maybe tonight is the night that we find out.
Yeah. Do you have a particular favorite piece of equipment that you use on your events or that you use personally?
So, I really like doing EVP sessions, mm-hmm. and I know it's a little controversial here and there, but we really like the Panasonic DR60s. the voice recorders.
Sure.
So we have a couple of those that we use, and we've gotten great results with them. We've caught some really interesting things with them. A lot of times if we catch a really nice piece of evidence on one of our events, we'll throw it up online to get everybody's opinion of it. So that's my favorite thing to use. But we have a whole slew of equipment that we use on our investigations. You know, we have thermal imaging cameras, night vision cameras, full spectrum cameras. We have different types of voice recorders. We have, spirit boxes and portals. We have boo bears, and we have other trigger objects and K2 meters, and I think we have at least 2 of everything. It's like Noah's Ark in our equipment case. So, but we're always looking for the new thing and seeing what else is out there and sticking with the tried and true. And, we always tell people that the best piece of equipment is their own body,
I agree.
their senses.
I agree.
And we always tell them that if they see something, say something. We always tell them that we have trademarked that slogan. See something, say something. And that's kind of what we tell everybody. But yeah, we'll try anything at least once and see if it works. You know what I mean? But one of our investigators, Ken, he has quite the setup. He has, like, I always tell people, it's like the Temple of Doom with him going through. He's got it booby trapped with motion sensors and laser grids, and it's just it's a crazy thing. And people love his group. They love seeing all of his toys and all of his instruments, and he really does a huge setup for all of our events. And everybody on my team investigates different. I think that's really cool. So whenever people get to visit with each investigator, they're getting something different. They're not getting an EVP session in every single group, or they're not getting somebody using a spirit box or a portal in every single group. They're getting different equipment, different investigation techniques, and that just kind of goes along with nobody's right, nobody's wrong, and you never know what's going to get a response.
We've had a lot of luck, which I was super skeptical of at first, but we've had a lot of good success with ghost boxes, Frank's boxes, things like that.
Yep.
And especially doing the passive listening experiments. Are you familiar with that? The person's hooked up to the ghost box with earphones. That's been very, very successful for us, and as well as the tried and true mail meter, and probably the creepiest thing that we use, at least I think it's the creepiest thing, is that boo bear. You'll be sitting there, and for those of you out there that don't know it, it's a teddy bear used as a trigger object, but it's also got sensors in it that it'll comment if the temperatures change or the item gets touched or moved. So but the voice is creepy as all get out. And if you miss it if you don't mention it on your EVP, on your recorder, you'll think it's an EVP. But we're getting ready to go to our last segment, folks. So stay with us. Paranormal Stakeout, and we'll be back right after these messages.
They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Ellie Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
Christopher Fulton is a survivor of the national security state. All he wanted to do was preserve history when he acquired a Cartier watch from the estate of President Kennedy's personal secretary. But that simple act set off a terrible chain reaction. He was pursued by the U.S. Justice Department and the FBI, thrust into the middle of the U.S. government's Assassination Records Review Board, even monitored and pursued by the Russian government. All because that Cartier watch was the missing link of evidence, a timepiece worn by JFK that fateful day in Dallas, a link resulting in Christopher being incarcerated and attacked for 9 years because he opened a hidden chapter in history. The intriguing journey outlined fully in Christopher Fulton's memoir, The Inheritance, is available now through TrineDay.com or Amazon.com. The Inheritance, Poisoned Fruit of JFK's Assassination by Christopher and Michelle Fulton is a must-read, an incredible tale of how easily our own government can overrule justice. The Inheritance, Poisoned Fruit of JFK's Assassination.
And we are back for our last segment of tonight's show with my guest, Brett McGinnis. And it's been interesting talking to a colleague up in the north, the frozen north.
Yeah.
Ghosts and N'at Paranormal Adventures in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Interesting stuff, and it's amazing hearing you. We do a lot of the same things. We got a couple things that are different, but it's I think as long as we're providing folks with the right information, and it is entertainment, there's no question about that, and giving them the experience. And that's one thing I want to mention before. I was talking to a gentleman that I'm working with in England, actually, and he brought up a good point. With what we do, we're not really investigating, but we're providing an experience for these folks. And I thought that was a really insightful comment. So I'm spending more time calling it an experience than anything. So, but I do want to mention that Brett's website is ghosts, GHOSTSNAT.com, ghostsandnat.com. Please visit that website and learn more about it. I would also like to invite all of you to visit my website for the Florida Bureau of Paranormal Investigation at www.paranormalfbi.com. You can also catch me here on my website on the X Zone at paranormalstakeout.com. I also would like to invite all of you to come by and check some of the other great programming on the X Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net, for all the great shows you'll find on the X Zone Radio and Television Broadcast Network. As we close this hour's gone quick, Brett. A lot of things I'd like to chat with you about some more. But one thing that caught my eye, being a cop myself, interviewing Bruce Tango. Many of us have seen him on the TV show. He made a couple of guest appearances with his son, Dave. And, of course, another gentleman on the show was a cop also. I'm sure that you're familiar with him, retired police officer from New Jersey. What was it like doing a show, and how did you end up doing a show on Bruce Tango and his experiences?
Yeah, so, of course, Dave was on the show that I was on, Ghost Hunters Academy, so I knew Dave from that. And after the show was over, I've stayed in touch both with Steve and Tango now since that show has been filmed. And I think I was at an event. I went to an event to hang out with Steve and Tango, and Bruce was also there. And that's the first time I met Bruce. And we kind of clicked right away. We were hanging out. He was telling me all kinds of stories. We exchanged phone numbers after that, and we started to talk. He's in New Jersey, and I'm in Pennsylvania, so it's about 6 hours from me. So we talked, and we hung out a few times after that, and then we started to do a couple events together. Bruce has some events that he does every year in New Jersey, and he invited me to come out and do some of those. So we got to become really, really good friends. And Bruce had always talked about his paranormal experience as a child, and that's kind of what got Dave into being an investigator, is hearing about the story from his dad. So Bruce told told his story at events, and we talked about it one time. We thought, it'd be a great idea to get a sketch done of what he saw as a child, like get an old police sketch artist in there to do a composite sketch on it. And Bruce had always wanted to do that. And I said, why don't we film that? That would be really cool to film. So that was kind of the blast off point, and we started to talk about it, and we kind of set up that we're going to do this, and then we said, you know what? Why don't we do a whole documentary on it? And it was really, really awesome. You know, it took a lot of planning to plan all of this out and to storyboard it. And what it is it's a 45-minute documentary, and it is Bruce telling his story along with some recreations of the events that happened, because this happened back in the 50s and 60s in Elizabeth, New Jersey. And so some recreations of some of those events. And then we do get the sketch done, so you actually get to see the face that Bruce saw whenever he was a child. And Bruce says that it was extremely accurate to what he saw as a child. And then we actually end up going back to the place where Bruce had this experience, and we do a little investigating of our own to see if anything is still there. So it's really cool. There's a very nice police tie-in there. You know, we get the sketch done by somebody named Lou Trowbridge, who is a New Jersey sketch artist who worked on some big cases in New Jersey, sketching for the police. And we did in the police station there, which is really cool, in the police station right there in New Jersey. And it was a really cool experience. And that came out, like I said, in 2015. We had a big premiere for it out in New Jersey. Both Steve Gonzalez and Dave Tango came to it, and it was a really cool experience. A lot of people really enjoyed the documentary. There's a trailer up for it. If you search The Staring Man on YouTube, you can see the trailer for it there. Or if you see Bruce or myself at an event, we have copies of it there as well. So it was really, really cool.
Did he ever discuss incidents that occurred while he was on the job?
Not in detail, but I do know that some incidents did happen, and he, of course, heard a lot of incidents from his friends on the force as well.
Yeah, it's really amazing. People would be shocked if they knew how many law enforcement officers, retired and active, actually investigate the paranormal based upon things they've seen while working. I mean, my very first, I had no experience as a child at all. My first connection to the paranormal was when I first started my law enforcement career down in Miami back in 1980. So, you know, it's just amazing how many of us have seen things. We've gone to, you know, burglary calls where the alarm goes off, but the place is buttoned up tight and there's nothing in there. We see something out of the corner of our eye, movement, all kinds of weird things. So that's why I was wondering if he had discussed any of that with you too, or if that was part of the production.
Maybe that's maybe the next one that we're going to do together. Huh?
Yeah, I think it would be. And there's a lot of interest in it now. I've actually, with the help of some friends of mine up at the X Zone, are trying to put together a law enforcement type of organization, law enforcement paranormal investigator type organization, because it's really amazing. Paramedics, also emergency workers, doctors, anybody in the hospital.
Yeah.
A lot of times they have some interesting stuff. I had actually had a doctor who came on one of my tours, and I'm sure you've had guys like this. They're standing in the corner and they're looking, and you just say, he doesn't believe any of this. He's gonna debunk everything. And this guy stood in the corner. Then after the tour was over, he came over. He started his career as a doctor in the ER in Colorado. And he told me about a guy that came in with a bad knife wound, was dying. They call in a special thoracic surgeon to save the guy's life. And the victim was unconscious the whole time. 4 or 5 weeks later, the victim comes back into the hospital, seeks this doctor out, and says, I actually watched the whole thing. And who was the guy with the funny glasses? And this was the doctor that saved him. So here was this physician who was an ER doc at the time, had experiences, had gone through this, and actually believed in something happening after death, because here was this guy explaining something to him that he couldn't have seen. So something to think about for your future endeavors.
Yeah, there's a lot out there that we don't know.
And that's the big key here. We don't know. And I think you said it earlier in the discussion. There's all kinds of questions out there. We don't know what the answers are, but let's get out there and try and seek them. What do you think the future is for this field? Not only for the paranormal tourism end of it, but just the research and investigation end of it. I know you mentioned you don't think it'll ever quite go away, but what do you see as the future?
Well, I think, as technology advances, I think that eventually somebody's going to come across something that's going to work really, really well. I don't know what that is going to be exactly, but I equipment-wise, or I think that somewhere along the line we're going to bump into something. I don't know when it's going to be, but I think people we're going to continually have an interest in it because, fact of the matter is everybody's going to die at some point, as much as we don't want to think about it, it's going to happen. So I think everybody has kind of an interest in what's going to happen afterwards. It is the greatest mystery of life.
Oh, so agreed.
I think it's just going to continue, and who knows what's going to happen. But I think all the TV stuff and, all the media stuff, I think that's all here to stay. I know people have been saying, oh, it's going away, oh, it's going to die. Not a chance.
Let me ask you this, and let me throw a curveball at you.
Uh-huh.
There are those dear friends of mine even that have said this. There's a vested interest in making sure this doesn't go away because of all the money that's being made. What do you say about that comment?
To make sure it doesn't go away.
That it's the answers are never discovered, because if it does, people are going to start losing money.
I don't know.
Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
Yeah, that theory would make sense, but I don't think that's true, because I think that if somebody would discover all the answers, I think that that person would make way more money than he would keeping it a secret. You know what I mean? So I think as soon as somebody figures out something, which is probably going to be by mistake, all
usually is.
Discoveries are by mistake. So he's probably going to be trying to invent some new type of toaster or something, and he's going to come across a great way to tap into the paranormal world. And I think as soon as it's out, it's going to get out there.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I think it's going to be in the realm of the instrumental transcommunication EVP area. Well, Brett, I really enjoyed our time tonight. I'm going to look forward to talking to you soon. Enjoy the beautiful summer up in Pennsylvania, but thank you for being on the show tonight, my friend. And for the rest of us, please stay tuned. We'll be back next week with another show. Thank you for listening. This is Larry Lawson signing off. Paranormal Stakeout.
If you are looking for a safe, zero-calorie natural option to the harmful artificial sweeteners on the market today, Just Like Sugar is what you're looking for. Just Like Sugar is a wonderful natural alternative for those health-conscious people who choose a calorie-restricted diet with a great, pure, sweet flavor that tastes just like sugar. Just Like Sugar is a great natural option for people suffering from diabetes and may be useful in restricted diet programs where standard sugars are not allowed and does not cause a laxative effect of some other sweeteners. Just Like Sugar comprises a perfect blend of chicory root fiber, natural calcium, natural vitamin C, and Just Like Sugar's sweetness comes from the natural flavors from the peel of the orange. Just Like Sugar is a natural alternative to harmful artificial sweeteners and will change the way that you believe all natural sweetener products taste. Just Like Sugar is available at your local Whole Foods markets, Wild Oats markets, Henry's, Sun Harvest, and many other fine natural food stores in the U.S., Canada, and worldwide. They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Ellie Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, SyFy, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.